Aha. There we go. Adam Post, how are you?
Fantastic. How you doing, Antonio? Thanks for having me, man.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Welcome, 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 welcome one, welcome all that good stuff. Um,
Fantastic.
so, hey, College of the Dead, graduation
College
day.
of the Dead graduation day. This was the first College of the Dead. You were the one that told me, "Hey, how come you're not showing your books if you got them done in advance?"
Yeah,
You told me
yeah.
last time, like, that guy's got a really good point.
Um, that
That-
did seem to you actually have the product to show the people.
For
It
sure.
would make sense to actually let the people see your wares, I guess.
Yeah. Let them know that the thing is there. And similarly with this College of the Dead, this sequel, the whole book is done. It's all colored. It's all lettered. We're just putting together now the pre-press stuff so we can print out the test prints.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of neat. And we're doing also 3 versions again. We're doing the regular comic. We're doing the 260-page art book. Now this is the other version, but it's this format. This is the from the first one, and then also the Ashcan. It's got the full script and all the rough layouts in it. So yeah, I'm really psyched. I'm psyched to be putting these books out again, and to be able to ship these things out. So we're planning to ship June 2020. We may even ship a little bit sooner. Because what I'm kind of noticing, like, I don't know. I mean, I look at crowdfunding. I'm sure you look at this stuff too. The guys who do really well with crowdfunding seem like, I mean, of course, there's Ethan Van Sciver, but beyond Ethan, people seem to do better as time goes on. As long as you have like a continuing series, people get to buy it and then like follow it, because our book number 2 right now, we're up to a little more than 14,000. And that was that a little more than 3 weeks for us to do that. And the first book took me 60 days to get like 5,000. And then, another 6.5 months to get another 5,000. So it's been great.
So you were able to raise money at a much quicker pace.
Yeah, quicker pace. And what was also cool is there were reorders, people buying book 2, who bought book 1, but there were also a bunch of new people buying book 1. People who hadn't gotten book 1 yet. So then every time, like, book 2 comes out, we could sell book 2, and then we could also sell book 1. And guess what? We put out book 3, sell book 2 and book 1. Sell them all.
That seems like a groovy idea.
Straightforward.
So let's go back in time. Tell us about College of the Dead, book 1. So tell us how does where did the first story start, and then obviously go into where we are.
Sure. Well, the first story started in College of the Dead, book 1, where we introduce some of the students doing normal college stuff, teachers teaching a class, and then all of a sudden, the teacher hears a commotion, sees out the window. There are police officers pulling up in police cars. Now, she's been up to some sketchy shit. So she thought that the police cars were there looking for her and what she's been up to doing. And she's been dealing to the students to raise money for, she's got her own wacky things going on, but she's been dealing to the students. So she thought she was going to have to run. And then she was kind of looking a little further, and she saw that the police were like fighting off zombies. So that's where the kind of zombies just kind of come out of nowhere. But she's really kind of cold, calculating, and she starts to figure out immediately, okay, this is a crisis situation. Let me figure out what to do to protect myself. And then she's also trying to figure out how to protect her daughter. So then we see college students start to get introduced. There's Brendan and Marie and Haley and a good number of cool characters. Kind of what you expect from a cast of human beings trying to deal with zombie apocalypse. And you just kind of get to see like how they interact and what they're doing. You get to see like a weak person die, but then you also get to see like a strong person die who you thought like, oh, she's going to be important in the story. But like, no, not necessarily, because You're in a zombie apocalypse.
There you go.
Yeah. And then kind of as the story goes on, things start to settle in a little bit, but they also kind of things happen fast. So by the end of the first book, a few characters have died, a few characters have kind of shown what they're all about, and it leads us into the continuity for the second book, which is College of the Dead Graduation Day. With Graduation Day, it's kind of like the students have kind of moved to the next level. They've kind of gotten past now where the apocalypse has happened, and now they're kind of trying to really deal with the situation, and they've kind of graduated to this new reality. That's really what the title Graduation Day is about. Now, the trailer shows pretty well. It almost looks like a TV show. The trailer shows well, like one of our main characters, Brendan, that we were introduced to in the first book, is thinking back to what he was doing right before the apocalypse. And what he was doing was fooling around with some beautiful girl he hardly ever met at a party, which is exactly what you want to do at a college party. But things were happening kind of fast between the two of them, and she got uncomfortable and started running off. And then he had to go chasing after her because he was like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? I wasn't trying to say or do anything or whatever. And then her friends start kind of accusing him of rape or whatever. And he's like, hey, wait a second, I wasn't doing anything like that. And then the zombies kind of all come in at the top of that conflict. So then Brendan needs to spend kind of the rest of the story after they've gotten separated with the zombie attack, trying to find this girl and kind of rescue her and also just be like, hey, what's up? Let me just talk to you for a second about what happened, because he himself doesn't know, is he a hero or a victimizer or whatever the heck he was. So it was written with Stefan Petruka. He wrote the first one for me, and they just really great job on the story and really feeling like you're in the apocalypse.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, one thing I noticed that is different about this one, the first one was all in black and white, and this one is full color.
This one's full color. Yeah, I was lucky to find a great colorist. She's done some other Comicsgate books. She's done all my covers, and she's done all the interiors. And we did 3 covers this time. Originally, I was going to be like that one cover guy, but then we just tried another one and another one. I'm like, I just kept liking one,
So you're doing like myself and exploiting people with multiple covers and all this kind of thing.
I'm seducing them.
I've been told I'm exploiting by having more than one cover. So
man, I would love to be exploiting people with a Billy Tucci cover and exploiting them with an Ethan Van Sciver cover. But the truth, and I asked Ethan about it, and Ethan was a couple months ago. He's like, "Yeah, I might be able to do it. Like to help you if I can." But the thing is, like, I don't want to be another distraction of his, And I have kind of a strict thing where I get very uncomfortable if I don't have all the pieces in my hands. So I want to be able to control, like, God forbid something even happens to my artist, I'd find a way to replace him. But somebody like Ethan can't replace Ethan. So you got to have that. To me, you got to have it in a drawer somewhere. Be able to spring that out. But yeah, man, the multiple covers are fun.
Well, that's the thing. And I've talked about this. One of the reasons I like the variances, I remember I was a much younger man, and I remember when they launched Gen 13. It was one of my favorite books. I was J. Scott Campbell and what was it, Brandon Choi? Or whatever.
Didn't they do like
13 they did 13 covers?
Yeah. That was back in my day, man.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. Yeah, so I that was one of the things I loved. And I bought like 4 of the covers, So I was like, they had a big box where you could get all of them, and you still see people on eBay now. You can get they're selling like the box with all the covers for like $40 or $50, but
that's cheap. Wow.
Yeah, they didn't quite retain it, but that was back when comics were selling 200, 300, 400,000 copies and stuff. And Gen 13 sold a bunch of copies, so. Yeah, it didn't end up being, a collectible, but that was just something, I always was a fan of different collectible covers and stuff like that. So that's why, I allowed the different covers to be sold individually, or you could get the whole thing or whatever, So I kind of wanted to just keep it short and simple or whatever.
I did it like that too, man. And I don't know if you did it with your current campaign or your most recent campaign or not, but I did it too where there's add-ons as well. So you can get them individually.
The add-ons have been very effective for the new campaign. I will definitely say that.
Awesome.
I love the way the new campaign with the Fame book. I wasn't sure how the Fame book was going to sell on the new campaign. I look, and I know we've sold like about 40 or 50 copies of the book so far. And like I said, the campaign's only been up for about 30 days. So, and we're almost at 14, and I haven't even put one thing I'm about to add is the cover for the second printing, and then that'll allow. So, because a lot of people have been asking for that. But let me go ahead and play this trailer because I want to see your trailer.
Yeah, tell me what you think, man.
Yeah, let me see. I got the audio. Let me do this thing.
Cool.
See what we're working with. Come on, full screen. Come on. Try to get it.
Real slap on his butt.
Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Like the music. Impressive.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I like that. There you go. I like that. Who put that together for you? Did you do that yourself?
Oh, that's not something I could ever do. That's Ted Zagaro. He's a Comicsgate guy, and he's also he's just been around a bunch, and he's starting to do videos for people. He did that for me for a flat $250, and I'm really happy I did it with him, and I recommend him out all the time because it's a nice something to get excited about the property about. It's related to the story. People like it, and then you kind of go to the featured tier. That's how I look at it. Like people see that, they like it. They're like, all right, how am I going to get this thing? And boom, you land right on the featured tier. Go through whatever you want.
Now let me ask. So these three images here, are these the three different covers, or is this something?
Yeah, those are the three different covers. Okay. And the first one we did was the center one, which we had in black and white for a long time. And Ethan loved it. And he was even saying, like, before it was color, he was even saying, like, maybe you can't even color that. And I was like, well, I don't know. But Kyle Ritter gave us some good advice. He colored my first cover. He didn't have time to do that one. And he kind of gave us some advice and kind of mentored, worked with the colorist a little bit just to get it like the perfect look. And then she was kind of on her game after that. We did the torch one, the hottie with the torch, and then you'll see it, I guess, a little bit lower. So this way,
no, I see it, right there, and then
yeah. So she's stacked, and that's what I like, to be honest. You got to also have some sex appeal, and we didn't have any of that really on the cover last time. We had kind of no option for that with College of Dead Book 1. This is the one, of course, with this girl getting attacked at the party, and that was the third cover we did, and I was just like, if he keeps doing work like that, if my artist keeps doing that, I'm going to keep buying more covers off the guy.
Oh, there you go.
How am I going to stop? So he's the same artist that did all the interior.
Okay.
And there's that cutie pie in the red dress.
Nice colors.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And that's the art book. That's the 260-page art book. So because our panels are designed 6 panels per comic page, like we did with the first book, we developed this art book so people could see the panels one panel at a time, like full size, 8.5 by 8.5, and no lettering on it whatsoever. So just like with this one, it's as you know, because you get to work with Kanan, you set that up nicely. we get to see the beautiful work that nobody else gets to see. And same kind of deal. He's got a number 2 on his head this time because it's the ash can for the second book. It's 100-page book, full script with photo reference and rough layouts from the artist, so people get to see how it was made.
Colors are really nice on this, but what made you decide to go? I thought the art looked very good in black and white the first go.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I liked it and I got good feedback on it, but I felt a little bit like I was the only guy who had black and white, was doing black and white comics, and I felt like I had such access. You know, Ethan was so generous to having me on his show and making me a part of Comicsgate, kind of showing me around, meeting people and stuff. And I was kind of like, well, I need a book that's going to be like, I don't know, just all that the book could really be. So once we started kind of testing around with the cover coloring, I was like, all right, let's try and see what the interiors look like. And it took a little work, but we kind of made it work, and it was pretty cool. Now that said, so I've getting a lot of compliments on the color, a lot of compliments how the art looks. But that said, I am getting some people like the Raging Golden Eagle guy in particular, and his audience was like, look, we would love to have it more like a manga, like the way you had it in the past, where it was 2 panels per page on book 1 and, black and white instead of, 6 panels a page. Like, I can relate. So I'm going to work on some kind of collection or something where we have a smaller version of the book and it's like, 2 panels per page, but give it to everybody the way they want it.
Well, of course, let me ask you this though. So, okay, is your artist doing when he's turning in stuff? Is he turning in pages or is he turning in panels to you?
Pages with panels.
So he's turning in full pages.
Yeah, he's turning it in full pages.
Like okay. So I'm saying you got this like here with the 6 panels. That would be a full page, or is he?
That would be a typical page. That would be a typical page. Yeah, which is why we were able to do a 140-page book last time. And still make the budget kind of work. And there was a lot of it. I did a lot of experimenting with this. The reason I did the single panels equal size in the first place, it was Professor Geek did a great review on it. I did the single panels in the first place because I was out trying to see, could I get social media interest in my comic? I wound up with like 3,000 followers on Facebook after a year. Because my thought was this, Antonio, I thought I was really sharp. I was like, all right, nobody knows, what the comic is. Nobody knows what the idea is. If I do a zombie comic and it's good and I publish it like 1 panel at a time through Facebook, through other social media, I'll develop a following while I'm producing the book. And then when I'm ready to publish, all these guys will know me and they'll know the book and they'll buy it. People followed it. They didn't buy. It didn't work. So that was like, all right, we'll sell it through comics, get into my own comics promotion and sell it on Comicsgate, connect with the Comicsgate guys. They seem cool. And, it was really just trying to figure out what would work, what does work.
All right. So let's actually look. Okay. You get featured perk, which is a big thing for me, y'all. I always believe you should have a featured perk. So you got featured perk prequel comic plus arm and a leg. So I'm assuming what the featured comic is, obviously College of the Dead book 1. And then arm and a leg, I guess that's that variant. I don't know which is this, the A cover, the B cover, or the C cover, but this is obviously one of the covers.
That's the one where the hottie and the orange tops getting eaten up.
Yeah, so that's what you're getting for the 50 plus your shipping. I don't know what your shipping's running like on that.
That one's $10 domestic, 20 international.
There you go. Okay. College of the Dead book to the graduation cover. So I think that's the first one I saw.
That's the main one. That's really what I consider to be the main one, the non-variant one. But that arm and a leg girl, she's selling up around the numbers that of that graduation one.
Same shipping or?
Yeah, same shipping, 100%.
Okay. And you said 48 pages on this one, right?
48 pages, full color.
Okay. And then this is the arm and the leg cover that you could have got up there at the top with the 50. So again,
just buy your own lonesome.
And then you got the hot torch cover. And are you shipping these in like graphic novel form as opposed to a floppy comic or?
Yeah, perfect bound. Okay. 100%.
Okay. Got you. Which is how the first one was. So
Yeah, exactly.
one thing I remember talking to you about when you mentioned going color, why not release College of the Dead Book 1 in color?
Well, you know what? That's a damn good idea. I've been thinking of it on and off. I wanted to come up with a publishing plan that supported that. So I was like, all right, like for example, right now we're just finishing the contract now for College of the Dead Book 3, College of the Dead Spring Break. That came out of a chat. And we have a great story that supports that. It's going to be in continuity and everything. So that book, we're going to ship this in June. After this is delivered in June, in July or August, I'll launch College of the Dead Book 3, which will ship also 48 pages full color. Will ship January 2021. Now, I was kind of like, where does that leave me time, though, to offer a College of the Dead Book 1 in color? I was like, well, you know what? I don't know. So I just got a hold of the colorist, and I was like, listen, we got to color this book, and I'm just going to have to figure out when does it fit to offer it. Maybe with book 3. But the thing is this is where it gets a little tricky. Like if I don't put the energy into making it its own campaign, like a friend of mine was saying, maybe just make it like an extra tier, on another one of the campaigns. You could do that, but are we going to sell, $5,000 worth of it to justify?
I just figured you would because I mean you could have it colored, you could do a brand new cover, all this kind of thing. And then obviously the tiers build themselves because like I'm looking towards the third brand campaign, and then I'll have a tier with book 1 and book 2,
Sure.
and all that kind of and then you just build and get bigger bigger tiers.
Yeah, man, that's one of the things they talk about with Brian Polito with Lady Death. You look at him, it's like, oh, Brian's doing this, Brian's doing that. It's like, one of the things about Brian, he's got two things going there. Number one, his average backer rate is astronomical. It's over $100. He's got like whatever. He's got like 2,000 plus backers, and they're all spending more than $100.
Yeah, I noticed, and one thing I loved about his campaigns is as he continues to build the books, he'll be like, okay, if you buy this, then I'll at least give you the digitals of like 4 or 5 other books that that way you can catch up, and then you'll have the physical, and then you can read the other in digital format and all that kind of thing. So I thought that was cool.
He does good getting you invested in it. And there's another trick he's got going where at his lowest tier for the new graphic novel, he'll give you a 48-page color book for $26 domestic, USA, no shipping. But somehow he's able to do that, and because he sells so much backlist and special covers or whatever, his average is still high. So
I know that's one thing I've noticed about this. My second campaign, I was I'm averaging about $57 per backer. Is what it looked like, and and haven't even started trying to add the goodies in yet or anything. The main.
Yeah, that's a good number. That's a damn good number. I run about the same. And that's the other reason for having the other books, of course, and the other covers is that we could try to economize. And also if someone like they want to back your book, they want to be like, all right, well, what cool stuff can I get from you for like $50 or $60? They want to spend, a piece of money to support us. So we want to give them a way to do that.
And then, okay, here's your tier with all 3 for $75.
$10 shipping on top.
Really? Okay, for all 3 books. Okay, so $10 shipping. Gemini mailers?
Something physically similar to a Gemini mailer. It can't be damaged. Now I'm looking at 2 different printers, and maybe 3. Oh, hello, Orel. Yeah, I'm looking at potentially 3 different printers, so everybody kind of works a little different. And I'm also looking at a solution, and this could take 2 hours to talk about, so I'll just do a quick version of this. I'm also looking at a solution that includes working with a fulfillment center, and they do some. Okay, so long and the short of it is, there's a potential to combine orders on shipping. So for Comicsgate, a lot of the customers that all of us have in Comicsgate are common customers. So we don't, when everyone's doing our own individual shipping, that's good, and obviously that's how we have to fill stuff. But books over time, like there'll be a month that 3 or 4 or 5 of us are shipping out individual orders. Everybody's struggling and packing up and shipping stuff together. With the right fulfillment center, we may be able to combine some of those orders, save on some shipping, and then in the future be able to offer lower shipping prices to customers without even having to subsidize it. Just kind of knowing like, all right, in the month of June, we're going to be shipping 2 or 3 books. We'll probably have about 70-80% overlap. And you can kind of project for that over time, if you know what I'm saying. Almost like bulk buying with printing, but the same kind of thing with shipping. So
who'd you print with College of the Dead Book 1?
I printed with a company called Lulu. I printed with Lulu. Yeah, they're a digital printer. They have a high-end premium service. It worked out great for black and white. I'm testing color with them. And they have a good operation. They do all the packaging also for you. So they will actually drop ship. And
wow.
yeah, man, it's neat. The other day they really surprised me. Well, they did this a couple times. I was like, they still do this? I gave them a bad address. It was my fault. It was late at night. I was doing fulfillment, and I put the address into their system wrong. So 2 weeks later, the package came back undelivered, and they contacted me by email. And they're like, "Oh, we got this package returned for this tracking number on this order, and if you can give us the address, we'd love to update this for you and get it right out, like at no charge." I'm like, "Okay, we could do that." So yeah, that's kind of part of the deal with them. But they're printing on color also. I just got to make sure the color looks right for one thing. And the other thing is, it ain't that cheap. Mixam's price on 100, for example, just as a guide mark, 100 color books is less than $5 for a 48-page book. These guys are more than $7 for the same format, but I think they're negotiable on price a little bit with volume. But it's really a matter of looking at the quality and saying, would I want to buy that if I was going to spend the money on it? Is this top quality? Then I'm also talking to Transcontinental, who is they've been printing Cyberfrog. They really know what they're doing. They print for DC, Dark Horse, a whole bunch of these other companies. Those guys, I think, will give us a bulk printing price. And they actually have they have like 20 printing plants, but they have a printing plant. They have a fulfillment center, and they're used to doing international complicated fulfillment. So I was talking with them at length actually last week, and I think there's a real option for us with them. When I say us, I'm thinking Comicsgate. In a way, I'm like, I referred a lot of people to Mixam, and I'm not in the printing business or anything like that. At least not today. I used to do print brokering, but when I say us, I kind of explain my relationship with them with Comicsgate. Just say, look, I'll just recommend people to you guys if you can help us out. Give us a deal. Just about taking care of the customers, of course.
Well, I love Mixam. They did a fantastic job with Brand Book 1, and looking forward to having them print Book 2 as well. The print quality was outstanding, so I was very happy with what they did.
I reco them all the time, and I love that Mixam has a price calculator, because that always gets my brain going of like, okay, I could do this, but I can't do that. They can go as low as this quantity. They can go as high as that quantity, this format. Yeah, I've heard 99% of what I heard about them was been good.
So yeah, well, I'm just saying they did a phenomenal job for us. Now I saw the War Campaign guys apparently had an issue with.
Did you hear what the issue was? I know I just found out today what the issue was.
From what I saw on Rose Twitter, they had gotten a quote from Mixam, and I guess they decided that it would be cheaper to do the print overseas in the UK or whatever, and then ship it back over here. And then like DHL had like a duty tax or something. It was like about $900, it looks like. And
yeah, I didn't know what the amount was. I knew that there was a customs amount that DHL expects to be able to collect. And obviously it's not DHL, it's the government. It's the US government, but still they can't deliver without the money. Yeah, that's what I had heard. That's something I think that
That was not my experience with. They printed mine in Missouri.
Yeah, but the thing is, from Mixum's standpoint, yeah, of course they would look at it and say, well, we delivered the book. That was our job. It's like, yeah, but you're dealing with a new publisher. You're an experienced printer. That like when you have a new client, because I get that in my business I have a business-to-business telemarketing business I've been in for the last 20 years, pays the bills. But if you have a new client, things are going to get screwed up. So you've got to work with new clients.
Well, I was just surprised to see that because, like I said, I did not have an issue with them. They handled everything and the guy Simon over there.
Guy.
I emailed him, and Simon Giles, and we became pretty friendly.
Cool.
They printed a few things. They did the stickers for me. They did the prints. And they did obviously the 4 covers that I had. So, 3,900 books, so they printed 3,900 books. Now, one thing I will say is I had an issue when it was getting delivered.
I heard you saying something about that.
Yeah, that was a shit show. I got to be honest about that, but I don't necessarily blame them. The books got printed like they were supposed to, and then they shipped them. And then the company that was handling the shipping, they called me. They called me a few days before to schedule the delivery. They asked the question is like, are you in a business district or is this a residential area? All this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in a residential area. Are you upstairs? Are you downstairs? They were asking all the questions. I said, okay, let's have that conversation. I gave them all the information they needed. Guy shows up and goes, they didn't tell us this, so that happened. So I don't necessarily blame Mixum for that, but boy, it was a clusterfuck when they got here. When they actually got to my place, it was horrible.
See that delivery. See, so here's your experience is similar in that I look at it like this. If it was me and I was publishing that book and it was printed in the UK, would I have asked about customs and stuff like that? Yeah, I would have. Because I've been in that situation before, but I know, when you're in a business, like they know that as printers, they know like this isn't somebody who's kind of new to the business. So you've got to really look out for them. You're not dealing with someone that's a veteran of sorts. So you got to figure out what's going to be. But additionally, they know shipping internationally. They have to know that there's going to be customs going into the U.S. So one of the things I was talking to the transcontinental people about, and he was saying
they're in Canada, aren't they? On Transcontinental's in Canada. That's why I was like
100%. They're in Canada, but they're all the time shipping to the U.S. And they acquired another company's plants. Quebecor used to be like the shit, like the number one guys in comic book printing. And they were competitive with Transcon for a while, and Quebecor, then Quebecor kind of left the printing business. But in any event, this guy, I was talking to him like, well, you ship media mail with the fulfillment center in the U.S. He's like, we do this stuff all the time, Adam. We know this and we know that and we handle this. So that gives you kind of a level of comfort in talking to people that they kind of know what they're doing. But when you deal with somebody new, there's always going to be questions you can't ask. Like what you just told me, I didn't hear that part of the story where the shipping company contacted you ahead of time and was just curious.
That happened, the Gemini mailers. When I got the Gemini mailers in, because I ordered a full flat of Gemini mailers, which is like 2,700 and some change. So I'm saying 2,700 units, not the price was, I think, with the shipping and everything, it was like $1,300 to get them to come.
That ain't bad.
I was. Although the bad part was when I looked at my actual bill of lading and everything, the actual cost of the flat was about almost $800. It was like 700 and some change, and then they add like a couple $100 for fuel charge and this and that, and then so it ended up being about $1,300.
So the books were the cartons were like 700, and the delivery was $6.
It was something like that, just because, and then it came from like North Carolina, even though Gemini was in.
Yeah, they're out of Cali, right?
Yeah, they have, because I know Kyung, he ordered Battle Made Knuckle Bomb Kyung. he ordered some Gemini mailers from them, and he was close enough where he could actually go up there and get it himself, so you didn't have to pay all that. But I ordered from them. I emailed them. Dude sent me the email back, very friendly. We talked about the price. He gave me a discount because I was buying a full flat. And then, I sent me the invoice, paid them, whipped it out on the credit card. So I'm gonna have very interesting tax time and all this, all these.
You just save all them invoices and stuff.
But yeah, when I got that bill and I was looking, it was like $400 something for fuel charges and storage rate and all that, So, but it showed just like about 700 and something, and then the taxes and all that kind of thing. So altogether, like I say, it was almost $1,300 altogether to get the Gemini,
to get it delivered into your place. If they're less than 50 cents each landed to your place, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I can't complain because the Gemini mailers are, and it's nice to see people are starting to get the books because, I saw Doug
Congratulations.
Doug TeNapel tweeted out early. I guess he's the first. I don't know if anyone else has gotten them yet, but I sent out several dozen. And, I took a bunch of them. I actually had loaded up my little dolly that I bought, and I stacked that bad boy up, pulled it up to my car, threw everything in my trunk. Then I got there, loaded it back up, pulled it into the shop, and got everything checked in and dropped it off in their postage and went back to the house. So it felt good to get those out, and I was just like, I wonder who's going to get these books first. And a couple hours ago, Doug was like, "Hey, I just got this," and I was like, "Yes,
oh, that's great. Okay, that's great."
So a couple of the trolls showed up, but talking about how the book's late, and I was like, "Yeah."
Just read the book.
I'm just saying, a lot of people is saying that those guys aren't even backers and stuff. But I love when the concerned trolls go, "Get your book out, Antonio," and I was like, you didn't even back the book. You're just being a troll. So I just.
But people don't know what it's like. People don't always know what it's like on the other side of things. Yeah. And it is rough, and you see, like, you're not going anywhere with anybody. So
So either way, but I'm like, if you didn't even back and you're doing that, then I'm like, okay, man. So at that point, but like I said, Doug apparently that was my first one. I'm looking forward to a few more people because, like I said, I sent out several dozen of these things. So it was a nice full packet of Gemini mailers that went out. And then, and matter of fact, I know one of them I sent overseas. I know it's going to Japan. So
just for your next book, I just wanted to make this quick suggestion to you. Back in the day when I was first publishing comics, one of the things I found we did really well with was we did regular editions, and then we did signed by the publisher editions, and they did well. So signed editions always work. They're good. But one of the things that we did that was really helpful was we had a pre-printed signed card. I'll have to get you a picture of it. But it's just sort of like maybe a 5.5 3.5 by 5.5 like index size card, something printed that said, limited signed edition of however many numbers. And that was black and white. It was just printed black and white, I think over blank. And we signed like 2,000 of them, sent them to the printer, and the printer bound them in the book. And most printers, even though they don't like offer to do it, you can kind of twist their arm a little bit and they'll do it. They just charge you a little bit of a fee for an insert. Not that you don't want to every now and then fly Kanan in or whatever for a signing, but we did it. I mean, just time and time again. I sent these to Clint to a couple. I'll find the picture because I know I just take a picture of some of the signed comic I have laying around here. But basically, it'd be like you'd open up the center of the comic and they would bound it in. Well, it's not even. Well, it's not. It's just. This was only with saddle stitched books. I assume they could do the same in some creative way with Perfect Bound, but for a saddle stitch book particularly, it's pretty damned easy. And then you're just moving around cards, and you don't have to like move around physical.
Well,
people.
I mean, the reason I said that is because Jawbreakers, Lost Souls, and Bigfoot Bill 1 both had tip-in sheets where he just signed them and they just laced it in there. He didn't actually.
Yeah, okay. So that's another good option.
It was he didn't have to. You didn't have to deal with because obviously Bigfoot Bill was like 128 page book or whatever. It was pretty big. So Yeah, and it was so, and then Jawbreakers was like at least 60 something pages or whatever. So Richard didn't actually handle the books. He just signed a bunch of, and then they just laced it in there. And I was like, I kind of felt like that was a cheat code. You'll get my grubby, grease stained hand fingerprints on all the comics, but not to mention. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say what's kind of nice about it too, especially for what we're doing, is the ability to execute on turning them around quicker. Like when the books you don't have to do something else physically to the books to finish them, to then have to pack them. I mean, it's torture. It's torture to get these things in the mail when people have big orders. That's the one thing. Like my first campaign didn't do that much. We did 10,600 on the first campaign. The second campaign is doing better. I'm happy, but when you're only shipping a couple of hundred orders, it's a little easier than shipping a couple thousand. But you do what you think is you do what you think is delivering excellent value for the customer. But having gone through that a couple times in the past, and you kind of notice that. And that's like another thing. Like with Ethan's Cyberfrog, he has all those signatures on that extra original art looking page that he then draws on.
Yeah, the interior thing, so he could.
So if he was starting on that now, he could have most of the Wreck Planet ones done by the time the book goes to the printer. So he's not doing anything wrong. It's just an opportunity to try to get ahead of the game as much as you can to turn that stuff around.
I will say one thing about Mixam that I was surprised at. It only took them about less than 2 weeks to print the books and get them for me.
Speedy. They are speedy.
Here's the thing, that it was supposed to take a little over 3 weeks. Simon gave me the quote. We agreed on the price, and he told me they'll be estimated, if you pay us now, they'll be estimated to be here. They were supposed to be here. That's what, I think that's a lot of the confusion why people were like, why did you launch when you launched? I was trying. Here's the whole thing. I had set everything up. Kanan, I would discuss with Kanan and, letting him know with his wife and when we were going to get the plane ticket, when we were going to fly him out. So the whole thing, it was supposed to create this big atmosphere. It's like, hey, we're here signing books. The new campaign is launching, all this kind of thing. And then all of a sudden they were like, hey, someone canceled on us. We're going to print the books now. And then I had already set everything up the launch.
How many did you print?
3,900. 3,900 books.
That's interesting.
It was 4 covers, 3,900 books.
So they turned it over faster than you realized they would.
Yeah. I actually got the books about 2 weeks before I was supposed to. And then so I was like, well, the books are here. And Kanan was like, well, I can't come, So I was like, okay. And then, Kanan's he's like, my daughter's got a birthday here. My son's got a birthday here. And I want to be there for my kid's birthday and all. And I was like, I get you. I got it. Okay.
He's a man.
So, and, I was still waiting on the shirts and the prints and all that stuff because it was all purchased, but that stuff wasn't coming for a few weeks. I was like, damn, these books. And then, like I said, they were delivering the books and I had to get somebody to help me. Because I was like, oh, shit, the books are here. And I thought the books weren't going to be here till the 29th. And it was like the whole thing. And, my friend lent me her son and he came over. And he came over because I would have been screwed lifting all those boxes in there. Because I tweeted that picture out with all the boxes laid up against the wall.
I seen that.
It was, and I'm sitting there going, okay, so I had ordered, I ordered a little dolly from Amazon because I was like, I know I'm going to need, because I don't know how, and all these boxes hold like 80 comics in it because it's like the book's 52 pages. And it was, it's 80 books in each box.
On nice paper.
Yeah. Oh, God, the print quality is outstanding. I cannot, I've sent out a few to some friends of mine and stuff. And they be like, oh, wow, this looks great. And I was just, because the color, the full print of it just looks outstanding. And I was just really impressed with how the digital came out. But then.
Yeah, digital's no joke on quality now. It's craziness.
I'm really proud of it. And, it was actually fun when Kanan was here going through. We did the director's commentary. That was something else that, Doug had suggested about a year ago. Cause I was like, he's like, you need to add like another little small tier or something. He said a lot of your backers just want to like throw some money at you and help you out. And I was like,
yeah.
And he was like, have you ever thought of like doing like a director's commentary? I was like, director's commentary? That's actually a good idea. And then he was like, yeah, just charge like $5 and just talk about it. And it was just going to be me. And I said, hey, Kane, you want to hop on? He's like, yeah, we do it. And then asked our colorist, Kid Icarus. And then so it was all three of us on the director's commentary. I thought it turned out great. It was fun recording it.
That's so cool.
Talked for about 2 hours and just went through the entire book, talked about things that changed during the story, all this kind of thing. It was really fun. And, different disagreements that myself and Kane had.
I've heard you mention that every time. Yeah, every now and then you'd be like, he didn't draw this right.
Yeah, and I love Kanan, but there were a couple of little, we had some disagreements. And, but.
Well, it's like being married when you work like that. You got to pick your battles. Sort of like, what's important, what's not important, and then you do.
It was interesting. So I, started getting pages in for Way of the Gun. And I knew there was some stuff where I was going to want some nudity. And Kanan actually drew the nudity. And I was surprised by it because he's layout. And I saw the nudity and I was like,
whoa.
I thought he was going to like draw, like he was going to cover it up or something. And he actually drew the nudity. And he's like, it's going to take me a while, but I'm growing into it. I was like, it's because I was like, I'm not expecting you to draw porn, but it's a mature story. And, if I'm putting the scene in there where people are about to have sex or something, then they're not going to be fully clothed and stuff like that. And I want those kind of scenes in there. In book one, we had a small disagreement on when we go back to Fame's home. And, they open the door and he's got like a strip club and they're shooting craps and doing all this stuff in there. And got the little strippers on the stripper pole, people walking around naked and stuff, and girls in a hot tub and, all that. And, the very first version of the scene, he's got like the little stripper in the little glass cage and she's got bikini on and all this. And I was like, it was weird to me. I was like, they're strippers. Why are you got them all covered?
Bikinis.
It was kind of weird. And then we kind of came to a compromise and there were some pasties and stuff like that. But when I look at the book, though, it turned out phenomenal. I was just proud of how it turned out. I loved it and, really impressed with it. So,
that's the kind of comics we got to make. That's the kind of comics we got. Ones that we could be impressed with and love forever. And ones that we know that if we don't make number one look right, we ain't going to sell number two. And then, number two is not going to do good. Number three is not going to do good compared to 2 and 1. Like, we got to keep it going. We got to deliver every time. There's no starting over with number one, the other mainstream companies do. For us, we keep it going and we make it tight.
And that's the thing. Like, I only ran a campaign for like 24 days and we had done
and I wasn't talking about you. But your situation is a different situation.
No, I was just tripping out because I was like, we had people that signed up for the mailing list, and I knew people had read the, because we sent out the PDF to the backers and all that. And I was, when they read the book, they were like, oh, okay, they either understand brand or they don't, because I know the story's different. And the whole thing is, one thing I'm really looking forward to when I get the whole thing done, and then I can put like a trade paperback together, and then I will do that. So that'll be, so I've got, I think now I've got it set up where I can do it in 5 parts and then put it all in one big book and see how that, if people are actually interested in
they'll love it. They'll love it.
And but so far, myself and Kanan are a little argument here, a little argument there, and he just gave me another page, and I'm happy with what we're doing, and I'm looking forward to. I like the way this story is turning out, and I'm looking forward to doing part 3, which is called Rain. I'm not sure when I'm going to launch Rain, though. Want to get this one out, and then I think I want to do the Mike Barron story that I had him write for me.
Cool. You have a Mike Barron story on the shelf.
Yeah. I'm getting Mike turned in the script. I just gotta brand it up a little bit though, because I was like, it's a great story, but it's not quite a brand story. But he didn't, he was like, he read my notes and he skimmed over the story and didn't quite understand how the universe worked and everything. So, but I can take his script and tweak those little parts that don't quite work in brand, and then boom, we've got it. That's
awesome.
Yeah. But
would that be another Kanan book?
No, I think I'm not exactly sure. I know the Fame book is being illustrated by Demetrius Miller. He's going to start on that in a couple weeks.
Oh, cool.
And he's a great artist. If he does a good job on that, then I'll let him do this story, which is called Children of Man. And then, after that, I know Kanan's supposed to do Fearsome. So after that, like I said, I wanted to do a campaign for Brand Black and White. And, and there was also another book that I wanted to do. It was supposed to be like a Scooby-Doo parody. I was, so I was looking for other shit to write and create and all this kind of thing. So,
that's cool, man. And you're writing Fearsome, right?
That is what I was told, but I have not had my meeting with Mr. Van Sciver yet. So we were supposed to have this big thing, it was supposed to be me, him, and Kanan, and we were supposed to go over the story ideas and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Mr. Van Sciver's been rather busy, so
rather occupied at times.
We have not had the opportunity to have that meeting yet, but I'd love to see, because the reality is I may not be the right person for it. But he wanted to bounce some ideas and see, if I'm not the right person, I don't want to stand in the way of someone else having an opportunity.
For sure.
I've got like,
it'd probably be a good time for me to tell you that I'm actually writing Fearsome. Only kidding. No, I'm not writing anything. I'm writing G.I. Jackrabbits with Professor Geek. I'm working on a few different projects too. Yeah, Professor Geek is awesome. He and I are just about done writing the 48-page relaunch of G.I. Jackrabbits, which is Ninja Turtles meets G.I. Joe, but cooler.
And your artist?
The artist, he's not known in Comicsgate, but he did the Ninja Turtles Batman crossover, and he did Ninja Turtles for IDW as well.
I had a buddy of mine that actually got to color a cover or two on that. A guy by the name of Jesse Hagee.
Okay.
He colored a couple. He's done some work for IDW and Aspen and all that, and
cool.
I think he did stuff at DC as well. And,
that's the game, is like finding cool people to work with, getting the connection there, respecting the talent, getting the best work possible from talent, and just trying to keep the relationship going and doing more books with them. That's the other reason why I want to kind of consistently, we launch a title, do a good job on it, get it delivered, and then plan for the next one, and always work to try to retain the creative team and always have work for those guys. Because no matter what, you've seen how it is, even I'm sure with Kanan, like occasionally people have downtime, and it's our job, if we're publishers, to make sure our creative people who we really value actually don't have downtime if they want to work. Like they always have a time, something cool that they can make money doing, which is hard when you have writers who are fast, like the writer I work with for College of the Dead. But we'll see. We'll just, there's more stuff to be done. But so with G.I. Jackrabbits, there's another book. The first book is done, the graphic novel for the Mermaids, which is Game of Thrones, essentially with mermaids, another color book. And we're just going to keep it going, launch stuff. But got to deliver College of the Dead 2 first, and then we can roll out some other stuff and some more interesting stuff.
Well, you sound like you have, because you mentioned College of the Dead 3 earlier. So, I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty full plate lined up.
Yeah. Got to keep it, get it out, get it done. So that's the thing. I think like just it's important for us to stay active, have more projects in the pipeline. Sometimes things take longer than we think they're going to take for whatever reason, especially when you want to keep the same creative team. Somebody has something come up. It can take a little while for it to get done. So try to kind of waste no time and then kind of go on to the next thing, get the next thing out. And, for me, I've published a lot of comics in the past. We used to publish a lot of comics every month. But for me, ultimately, if I've got 3 or 4 very cool ideas that can be ongoing graphic novel series, I'd be really happy with that. And I think I'm getting kind of close to it. Getting there, just about getting there. Then,
I don't know. I heard Ethan mentioning about, not publishing as many, frequent titles, but like, a premium edition, extra size with X amount of pages and all that kind of thing. And, just printing, maybe once, twice a year or something like that. And I think that's kind of where I want to.
Yeah, twice a year is, for me, twice a year is an ideal. More frequent than that, I don't know. It just seems like it's a rough.
I don't want to do monthly. I know that. I definitely don't want to do, especially if I'm having to fulfill. I definitely don't want to do monthly.
Yeah, well, mailing them out ain't easy.
Yeah.
But I could see getting to the point where I'm doing 148. See, I'm co-writing with G.I. Jackrabbits, but the other stuff, I'm always working with other creative people that are really doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And I work with people too, where I have an ongoing relationship, hopefully. So as you get to work with people, it gets easier to do more with the same people, over time.
Right.
And then I'm also trying to make sure I have the book done before I offer it whenever possible. So I've kind of set myself up as easily as possible to not get, too overwhelmed wherever I'm at. But yeah, there's a lot of tricks of the trade, as you get going along, where you can just kind of take care of business, get stuff out, make it run smoother. And I want to solve this fulfillment issue for us as much as I can for Comicsgate, where we can get it to be affordable, especially for international shipping, where we don't have to physically all handle all these freaking boxes if it's possible.
Oh. Yeah,
it's a doable thing. It's not
living room back.
We need printer. We need it's possible. I think it's really possible with Transcontinental. It probably would be possible with Mixam also. I'll talk to them after I talk to Transcontinental more. But
I've heard that you can print the comic books out of your home and then just ship them out to the customer.
Yes, that's called the Alexopolis solution. Yeah. And in that case, you also can cut down your own trees and make paper. But you know what? We have so much potential in what we're doing, and we're taking it serious. We're not all just talking. All of us that talk are actually making books. It's kind of amazing. So we got people we can work with that we can help out. They can help us out. They're good at what they do. We're good at what we do.
Well, again, they did a solid job with Brand. They, like I said, they did. He kind of had to do a custom job for us because, he was like, we're not. He said we normally most of our clients just have like one cover. So I had three covers and a variant, a blank sketch cover. So we had four covers total, and so they kind of did this weird. It was kind of confusing because I thought for sure I was like, oh boy,
when you be a fortune.
Yeah, it was here's what he came up with the thing. He was like, all the interiors on the books are exactly the same, right? And I said, yeah. He said, so here's what we're going to do. He said, we're going to print 3,900 interiors. He said, so we print the 3,900 interiors, and then I'm going to have to set up separate orders for your variant covers, and then they'll just staple everything together.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's reasonable.
Yeah, well, he worked it out, but it was coming when you actually saw the order on my login page, it looked like he had screwed it up and it was gonna be, and I was like, are you sure? Because first when he attached one cover and the numbers were wrong. Like the Christmas cover had too many, and then it was like, and this I said, hey Simon, I'm looking at this, and it was like you got the numbers out of whack. On this cover should only have 500, this one should have 800, and that one should have 2,500, and then just 100 of the blanks and all this. And he was like, oh, okay, hold on, let me fix that. And then so he went in and he tweaked it again, and it was screwed up again. And I was like, well, you fixed that, but this is wrong. And he went back in. Okay, and then I checked in again. I was like, okay, that's right. Okay, all four are right. Now and I said, are you sure that these 3,900? And then like part of the order shipped and the other half hadn't shipped yet. And I said, wait a minute. I thought everything was coming together. And then he goes, he said, okay, the tracking number I just gave you was actually somebody else's order. Because it was going he sent me a tracking number and the order was going to like North Carolina. And I go, why is the order going to North Carolina? I'm in Tennessee. And he's like, I'm not sure. Let me check on that. He was like, okay, that was somebody else's order. He said, let me give you the correct track. Because I was like, why are you shipping 2 or 3? Because he had the order was all screwed up and it was going to different places. But like I said, he gave me somebody else's order. And then
even when we go to like McDonald's or something, they can mess up the order sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you're thorough like that, and you're like, all right, I'm going to look at every last piece.
I just gave you like $5,600, dude. It was like I gave him like $5,600. I definitely want to make sure
it's the right thing.
I was like, yeah, because I had gotten the quote from Print Ninja, and it was actually they actually came in about $500 cheaper. And I was like, and I was like, it's actually going to be printed in the States. It's not coming from China or wherever. Although I got Graveyard Shift from Malin, and it was a beautiful print. Yeah, they did a great job. That Print Ninja killed that print. And then, got like I said, the order. Their main U.S. office was in Chicago for Mix'em, but then the order was coming from like Missouri.
Maryland. I think. They ship. I heard digital out of Maryland, and I think offset out of Illinois. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but this one, I can't. Matter of fact, I had to.
It's probably Illinois if it was 3,900.
Yeah, but they placed the order out of Illinois, but it went, like I said, it went to Missouri because I looked up the company. Yeah, it was a different. It was some company. Yeah, I had to look on my tracking number, but
they're hustlers. Mixems are hustlers because they don't own the plants. They negotiate.
They hustle. I was like, I thought it was coming from Chicago or something, and then it came from, like I said, it came from Missouri. The freight company called me and they said, hey, we got a package coming from Missouri, and I was like, Missouri, what's going on? And then I went on their website and they did offset printing, and so I was like, so I paid them, and then they paid somebody else.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. And they did kind of like they're almost like drug dealers or something. It's like, okay, you take part of the package. Exactly. So I gave them the main part of the order, and then they just paid someone else to do it, and then they shipped it to me. But like I said, I got what I paid for, so I was like, how they did it. But it was, when you look on their website, they're telling you it's from Chicago, but the order came from like Missouri.
Yeah, physically came out.
And I thought, like I said, that was weird
they're physically pretty close, I think, Missouri. And the showing house, I'm really not great with geography, but I'm pretty sure they're physically close.
I know I can get to. Let me see what we went through. St. Louis. We went through Lexington, Kentucky. Went through from Nashville, went to Kentucky, and then we were going up to visit my brother in Kansas, and we had to go through St. Louis. So you can get there in about 4 hours or so, 4.5.
So it could be that maybe they're one of the guys they work with has a couple of different printing plants.
I just figured they were like, because Print Ninja said they have like an office in like California somewhere and all this, and I just, either way, they're out of Chicago, but wherever it's the same thing with the Gemini people. They sold me something out of California, and the actual mailers, when I got the bill and everything, it actually was in storage in North Carolina, and it came to Tennessee. So that makes sense, because if they had to drive it all the way from California to Tennessee, it would have been much more expensive as opposed to they have different bases. It just makes sense to, it's like, okay,
they can drop ship out of each location.
Yeah. So that seems like a smart business. So because I was like, oh my God, they charged me like I said, they charged me like $1,300, but it came from the different places. So the trading cards came that I ordered from Mix'em. They came from the UK. That's why when I heard the War Campaign guys talking about the problems they had with them, I knew my trading cards were coming from the UK, but I got charged. Everything was, I didn't get any extra charges. Everything that we agreed on, I got charged that, and that was the deal. So it was, the whole thing worked out. I didn't have that problem. That's why I was surprised, but
I don't think that Mix'em knows who War Campaign is, and that's a problem for them. They got to understand, these people, you do not want to upset War Campaign.
I was just shocked that happened, just based on
I think it maybe had something to do with the concerns over businesses shutting down and things like that, and not being able to operate.
I know my order. It sounded like my order was a little bigger than theirs. I know how many individual copies of brand I sold, so it was like, my order was pretty big, and they, I didn't have that problem, so it was, and we both went through Mix'em. So I was surprised when I saw that, because like I said, they handled. I did find a cheaper. They were going to do the bookmarks for us. I found a cheaper company that did the bookmarks for me. And so I took that part off my order. I was just trying to save money anywhere I could get. So
sure.
Bookmarks went to what was it? It was called Print Perfect or something like that. I can't remember.
You know what? Eric Weathers had good success with a company called Primo Print for trading cards. Maybe you use them. I don't know.
The trading cards were Mix'em. One thing, the trading cards, I will say, when people get to trading cards, they're going to notice they're like small. They were supposed to be the size of like a baseball card, and they when Kanan saw them, he was like, "Oh," I was like, "It's a good print, but it's smaller than what a normal trading card would be." And I was like, "That's not the dimensions that I thought."
The next time around, if you want to check them out, Primo Print, and it's like $45.
Oh, no, I've already looked. Yeah, trust me, I've looked at a couple of alternatives.
Cool.
Although, like I said, the print itself was good. What I told Kane, I said it kind of looks like those old tobacco cards.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's why I was like, what was that? The Horace Wagner or whatever. The card is like worth $2.5 million. It looks like one of those, but the color on it and the print and both sides was perfect.
Beautiful. That's cool.
Yeah, the stickers. Yeah, they use labels and all that. I was like, okay, but like I said, they helped me save some money. So I was like, okay, because I was printing like a couple thousand on all that stuff. So it just, the whole thing, as I'm just, looking forward to more people getting these books and letting me know that they have them and all that good stuff. So
yeah, we're going to be watching that. A lot of brand books are going to be out on Twitter.
Yeah. So
congratulations, man.
Well, thank you. And congratulations on College of the Dead book 2.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. You helped me launch book 1 and you just helped me again with book 2. I can't thank you enough, man.
And yeah, it was fun. And we'll have you back for book 3 or whatever else you're doing. So.
Much appreciated. I got to sneak you on for brand 2 when you're ready to start promoting in a couple of weeks, maybe when you're ready to start promoting.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to start promoting yet.
Yeah,
Did you look back though? That was a funny stream. That stream was a little bit funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm good.
Cecil and that horn, man. That horn soundboard got me going. I was.
Oh god, I was just.
That was like the best time I've had in a year. I think.
I actually sold. Yeah, I was surprised, and I was like, I really didn't. and, I know
it's hysterical. You're like, I am not here to promote this book. I just came on. You guys invited me on. I just came on. Like, yeah. I'm not promoting the book. And then Ethan goes and puts the whole page up and he goes, okay, so brand 2, you guys really should sit back in this book. Take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell the book. I was like, because it's a lot of work doing the promotional side of it. There's a lot of stuff that I'm about to start doing. I've got ads lined up and stuff, and I just don't have the time right now. So I'm trying to get more of these books out and doing all that, and I just don't.
What do you like to do for ads, by the way?
Okay, well let's have that conversation, because I had this conversation with Kevin Sharp last night, because I was explaining, he was asking me about ads. He had talking about he had ran Facebook ads and he didn't really have success, and I was talking to him about, did he target, because real quick. I explained to him Twitter ads were trash. They're like total shit. They had given me like a $50 credit, and then you spend 50, we'll give you 50. I tried them out. They were awful. Twitter ads do not work. Although socially promoting on Twitter is fantastic. I've raised several $1,000s just having people retweet and do stuff like that. I recommend Twitter like that. If you're gonna work your Twitter, that's how you do it. The promoted ads on Twitter for me did not work, but tweeting out a link to the campaign, having people retweet, that generated thousands and thousands of dollars worth of sales.
For sure.
Instagram, Facebook, I had a great experience on them once I learned how to work the program, i.e. Looking at my Indiegogo information, i.e. male, female, going into Facebook and Instagram, knocking out the female demographic from my ads, geo-targeting to US and Canada, just keeping the ads running in just those places, narrowing down those age demographics to like 20 to 45 or so, so 20 to 45 US male. Knock the females out. Not that I don't have a few females that have bought my comics, but when I'm looking at my demographics, like over 90% of my customers were male. So
yeah.
It seemed to you're wasting money doing that. So that's how I did that. And I noticed that my return on the income on the sales of the book were much more profitable.
Now your advertising selects, did you select people that were interested in comics?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You put the little keywords in there and all that kind of stuff.
So like comics, Kickstarter.
I didn't do that. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, that's too broad because people might want to crowdfund a new T-shirt or album or something. I'm looking for people that like Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Todd McFarlane. They like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, X-Men, Avengers. All that. The Punisher. They're looking at Daredevil.
Those are optional, but maybe it's got to be one of those category. But did you add
30 different? Yeah, I picked a bunch of different. They like those keywords. They're following Todd McFarlane. Those people. Those are the people I'm targeting. And like I said, they're male. They're 20 to 45 or so. All that kind of thing. So there you go. So that's what I'm doing.
But you didn't put Kickstarter, Indiegogo at all, like as additional required. So you take someone who's interested in Todd McFarlane and hopefully get them interested in crowdfunding through your campaign.
Yeah,
you're not trying to get someone who's already buying crowdfunded books.
I just want them to buy comic books. I don't care if they buy crowdfunded comic books. I'm just looking for people that are interested in comic books. Period. That's too niche to say you're looking for a crowdfunded comic book. Whether it's a crowdfunded comic book or a regular comic book, I'm selling a comic book.
Yeah.
So there
you go.
So
I appreciate the feedback. I think we got to look at that kind of stuff. We got to talk about what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah,
so
Kevin really enjoyed that because he really didn't look at it like that. Because I know like when Mike was still in Comicscape, me and him had talked, and I'd had a bad experience advertising on Facebook the first time, and I didn't understand about not just you don't want them to do a run a network on you when you put that money in there. And by run a network, I mean just load the ad up and get them to approve it, and then they'll show it to men, women. It doesn't matter how old they are. All that stuff. You don't want to do that. So
women particularly, it's bad response rate. I've done those before in the past, like with particularly bad response rate.
So you
could try it for $5 and see what happens. It's not like you can't.
And another thing, I'll say I run it for 10 days, $3 a day. And then so that's $30, $3 a day, and that's giving you a couple hundred impressions every day, and you're getting it seems like you're getting a much better response rate. So
yeah, very cool, man. I appreciate the feedback.
Well, all right, man. Well,
all right, thanks for having me on. I'll let you get back to packing boxes, brother.
Yeah. All right. Well, well, tell people how they can reach out to you there, Adam.
Oh, yeah, please. Definitely subscribe to me on AdamPostSpeaks.com. That's my YouTube channel, getting close to 1,000 subs. That's what I got to get. And I'm on Twitter at Comics We Love. My campaign is always at collegeofthedead.com. It redirects to the current campaign, which is College of the Dead Graduation Day, coming at you very soon. Well, it's on there now, but shipping in June.
Yeah, and of course, link is in the description for College of the Dead Graduation Day. As always, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, here on YouTube, all at a Card Press. Cardpress.com takes you to brand Way of the Gun. Teespring, Amazon.com. You can get fancy, horrible merchandise from myself and Mr. Kanan White. And as always, thank you guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm out.
Appreciate you guys.